Hip-hop. It's a world where legends are made in lyrical battles, and a single bad bar can wreck a reputation. In this arena, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson emerged as a street-smart emperor of anthems, armed with killer business instincts that built an undeniable empire. His journey to the top was paved with grit and a mastery of the competitive spirit that defines much of the genre. Then there's J. Cole, the deep-thinking poet for a generation, known for his conscious rhymes and complex flows, who also climbed to the summit of the rap game, though his path couldn't have been more different. Underneath their individual successes, there's a story of missed chances, clashing views, and a quiet tension that's been simmering for years, only to recently blow up. Now, this isn't your typical diss track drama. This is about an unspoken feud, a difference in how these two giants see the world, and what it says about the heart and soul of hip-hop today. The whole hip-hop scene got a jolt when J. Cole, widely considered one of the big three, found himself caught in the crossfire of the monumental Drake and Kendrick Lamar beef. After dropping a surprise diss track, Cole did something nobody saw coming. He apologized. He actually backed out. And you know who was publicly, very audibly, hurt by this? 50 Cent, a true titan of the game whose own career was forged in lyrical combat. Fifth even posted, "WTF, how I missed this," at Real Cole World, "Call my phone right now." That demand basically echoed through the entire industry. So, how deep does this tension really go? This is the untold story of a feud that's been brewing for years, all starting from one pivotal moment. A shocking missed record deal that could have changed hip-hop history forever. Way before J. Cole was packing stadiums and collecting Grammys, he was just a young, hungry MC coming out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. He had this killer mixtape called The Come Up, and this was back around 2007. In the underground scene, his buzz? Undeniable. And guess who noticed this rising star? None other than G-Unit's own Tony Yayo. Yayo saw the raw talent and brought young Cole to 50 Cent's legendary Connecticut mansion. You know, the kind of opportunity most rappers only dream about. Right there, in G-Unit territory, Cole played his tracks, including the standout Simba. Word is, Yayo was losing his mind, totally convinced Cole was the next big thing. But 50 Cent, the man who built an empire on gritty street tales and club bangers, he paused. He listened, nodded to the skill, but in the end, he passed on signing J. Cole. Fast forward to a 2022 interview on The Breakfast Club, and 50 laid out why. He said, "To me, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, these artists existed early on when I fell in love with hip-hop, but it was Talib Kweli, it was Mos Def, it was a Tribe Called Quest, it was common sense. I didn't really know if everybody was ready for it because of how strong they were embracing what we were doing." He basically saw Cole's style as smarter rap, more on the conscious side, and wondered if the mainstream audience, who were all about G-Unit's sound back then, was ready for that kind of switch. J. Cole himself, reflecting on this critical moment in a 2013 Vibe interview, mentioned that 50 supposedly wondered if he was one of these skinny jeans and gas and just couldn't see it at the time. Despite the rejection, Cole remembered it as a good time. That missed deal? It became one of hip-hop's biggest what-ifs, setting Cole on a path to Jay-Z's Rock Nation just 2 years later, a move that definitively shaped his career in a way G-Unit would not have. After that G-Unit pass, 50 Cent continued to dominate, his multi-platinum reign expanding into a vast empire encompassing TV and movies. His whole persona was, and still is, built on unwavering street cred and relentless business savvy. His music stayed powerful, known for its aggressive, in-your-face style, and his die-hard belief in hip-hop's competitive nature. Let's be real, 50 comes from an era where beef wasn't just lyrical sport, it was a legit marketing tool, a way to assert dominance and stay on top. This aggressive, entrepreneurial approach was a hallmark of his journey. This contrasted sharply with the path J. Cole would forge. Over at Rock Nation, Cole cultivated a different kind of fame, becoming known for his introspective lyrics, incredible storytelling, and deep connection with a generation grappling with complex social and personal issues. While for years there were no public fights or direct call-outs between them, their philosophies on music and the industry were clearly worlds apart. They collaborated once on New York Times from Cole's 2013 album Born Sinner, but it was more a respectful, professional nod than a sign of close alliance. The untold tension stemmed from this fundamental split. 50 Cent, a product of a dog-eat-dog rap scene who thrived on confrontation, versus an artist who, while competitive, often seemed more focused on craft than conflict. This philosophical gap, mostly unspoken for years, was bound to surface. For the longest time, the hip-hop world has been debating who sits at the top. The term Big Three, usually meaning Drake, Kendrick Lamar, and J. Cole, became a huge talking point. This whole idea got a major boost on Drake's 2023 track First Person Shooter, where J. Cole himself dropped the line, "Love when they argue the hardest MC app. Is it K-Dot? Is it Aubrey? Or me? We the Big Three like we started a league." That line, maybe meant as a shout-out to their shared dominance, actually ended up pouring gasoline on a fire that was already smoldering. Kendrick Lamar, never one to back down, took direct aim on Future and Metro Boomin's massive track Like That in March 2024, obliterating the Big Three idea and declaring, "It's just Big Me." The battle lines were drawn, and J. Cole, thanks to his own verse, was right in the middle of it. The pressure mounted. In April 2024, Cole responded with 7-minute Drill on his surprise mixtape Might Delete Later, a direct lyrical shot at Kendrick. For a moment, the lyrical showdown fans dreamed of seemed imminent. But then, the shockwave. Just days later, at his Dreamville festival, J. Cole publicly apologized to Kendrick Lamar for the diss. He expressed regret, stating the track disrupts my fucking peace and called it the lamest, goofiest shit. He praised Kendrick profusely and announced he was removing 7-minute Drill from streaming services. Cole explained he felt pressured into the battle, but his heart wasn't in it, given his respect for his peers. This decision to choose peace over war sent ripples through hip-hop and particularly caught the attention of 50 Cent. 50 Cent, an artist whose entire career was built in the fire of legendary rap battles, think Ja Rule, The Game, Rick Ross, didn't waste any time letting people know he didn't approve of J. Cole's apology. For 50, hip-hop is, at its core, a competitive sport. Battles, diss tracks, the constant grind for lyrical supremacy, that's not just part of the culture, it is the culture. In 50's mind, Cole stepping away from the Drake-Kendrick battle was like a top-tier MC abandoning his post. In a December 2024 interview on Big Boy Radio, 50 didn't pull any punches about his disappointment. He said, "Because he's one of the top guys. That's how we're gonna find out who really got it." He somewhat understood Cole wanting to maintain good relationships, but was baffled by the logic. "I understand the relationship, but I don't understand why the competitive part in the form, if y'all are brothers like that, then why wouldn't you compete? Why wouldn't you understand we are just competing?" Even earlier, appearing on Ebro in the Morning on Hot 97 around November 2024, 50 admitted he was personally hurt by Cole's apology to Kendrick. When Peter Rosenberg asked if the apology hurt Cole's rank as one of the all-time greats, 50's answer was a straight-up yes. He recalled that upon hearing the news, he wanted to call Cole and just scream, "No!" And let's not forget, way back in April 2024, when the apology first dropped, 50 hit Instagram with a screenshot of the news, captioning it, "WTF, how I missed this. At Real Cole World, call my phone emoji right now." This public criticism from 50 wasn't a direct attack in the traditional beef sense. It felt more like a disappointed OG, concerned that a fundamental pillar of the art form was being undermined by one of its biggest stars. At the heart of this quiet, but definitely there, feud isn't personal beef. It's a major clash of how 50 Cent in particular sees hip-hop itself. 50 Cent is all about that battle-tested survival of the fittest mindset that defined his era and, for many, remains the pure essence of rap. For him, competition isn't just good, it's everything. It's how you prove greatness and determine who truly reigns supreme. His disappointment in Cole backing out of the Kendrick beef stems directly from this deep-seated belief. A real top-tier artist has to engage, has to compete, has to be willing to lyrically dismantle opponents to claim the crown. It's about the sport of it, the art of war waged through lyrics. J. Cole's apology, on the other hand, signaled different priorities, suggesting that for him, some relationships and personal peace outweigh the pressure to engage in every battle, even one of this magnitude. While some lauded this as maturity and self-awareness, others, echoing 50 Cent's sentiment, saw it as a step back, a dulling of the competitive edge historically demanded of hip-hop champions. The Game also jumped in, slamming Cole's apology, saying it turned this shit into Kool-Aid with no sugar, implying it diluted the raw, confrontational spirit of rap beef. This split highlights a larger debate. Is the old school's hardcore commitment to lyrical warfare the ultimate measure of an MC's worth? Or can artists now choose their battles, prioritizing other values? The Untold Feud lies in this ideological gap, with 50 Cent publicly questioning choices that Cole, by his silence in response to 50, seems to stand by. 50 Cent, an artist whose entire career was built in the fire of legendary rap battles, think Ja Rule, The Game, Rick Ross, didn't waste any time letting people know he didn't approve of J. Cole's apology. For 50, hip-hop is, at its core, a competitive sport. Battles, diss tracks, the constant grind for lyrical supremacy, that's not just part of the culture, it is the culture. In 50's mind, Cole stepping away from the Drake-Kendrick battle was like a top-tier MC abandoning his post. In a December 2024 interview on Big Boy Radio, 50 didn't pull any punches about his disappointment. He said, "Because he's one of the top guys. That's how we gonna find out who really got it." Somewhat. So here we are in mid-2025, and the dynamic between 50 Cent and J. Cole is largely a public monologue from 50's side. 50 Cent has made his stance clear multiple times, his disappointment rooted in his unwavering belief in hip-hop's competitive soul. J. Cole, characteristically, has remained mostly silent regarding 50's specific criticisms. He made his definitive public statement about the Kendrick situation at Dreamville Fest, retracted his diss track, and has since appeared to be moving forward, focusing on his music and other ventures. There's been no direct lyrical clapback at 50, no interview soundbites addressing the G-Unit mogul's views on his decision. This silence from Cole is telling. It perhaps indicates he's unwilling to be drawn into another conflict, particularly one centered on his choice to avoid a conflict. Whispers in early 2025 suggested 50 Cent, while still firm that Cole should have remained in the Drake-Kendrick fray, had somewhat come to accept Cole's decision, even if he disagreed with it. Yet 50's core argument, that Cole is a top-tier competitor who should compete, remains unchanged. Will J. Cole ever directly address 50 Cent's critiques? Given his established style and his handling of the Kendrick situation, it seems unlikely. Cole appears to operate by his own principles, guided by personal conviction rather than external pressures or traditionalist expectations. His actions may be his only necessary statement. So, the story of 50 Cent and J. Cole? It's not your standard hip-hop beef. There are no diss tracks flying back and forth, no public shouting matches, no ongoing direct bad blood. What it is an untold feud rooted in a deep philosophical split. It's a story about a crucial missed connection, that unsigned record deal, which sent two massive talents down parallel but profoundly different paths regarding their core beliefs about music and competition. It's a narrative that simmered beneath the surface for over a decade, only to be thrust into the spotlight by J. Cole's startling decision to apologize and withdraw from one of contemporary rap's most significant battles. 50 Cent's vocal disappointment seems to emanate not from animosity, but from his steadfast commitment to the competitive tenets that shaped him and, in his view, define hip-hop. He witnessed a champion in his eyes falter, not in skill, but in the willingness to engage in the lyrical warfare 50 deems essential. J. Cole's actions, conversely, were interpreted by many as a potent declaration of independence, a choice for personal peace over universal expectation. What this untold feud truly illuminates is the remarkable and often contentious evolution of hip-hop. It highlights the tension between tradition and new perspectives, between the genre's foundational competitive spirit and the evolving emotional landscapes of its modern leaders. It compels us to ask significant questions. What does it truly mean to be a top MC in the 2020s? Is relentless battling the sole path to GOAT status, or is there room for a different kind of strength, a different form of leadership? The legacy of this dynamic between 50 Cent and J. Cole is still unfolding. It's a quiet feud, waged with contrasting ideologies rather than cutting bars, offering a fascinating case study for fans and artists on the complex pressures, historical weight, and personal convictions that shape two of hip-hop's most influential voices. Their story is a vital chapter in the ongoing conversation about what hip-hop is and what it is becoming. Alright, so who do you ultimately side with in this big philosophical divide? 50 Cent's hardcore belief in competitive fire, or J. Cole's choice to pursue peace and artistic freedom when faced with conflict? Let us know your definitive take in the comments. And if you want more deep dives into the untold stories and complex relationships that define hip-hop, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next expose.